Zealand. This is the October edition of Event TV. I'm James Tobin, and here is what's coming up. The Magnificent Seven is a remake of the 1960 film of the same name, which is a remake of the 1954 film Seven Samurai. It's set in the Wild West, and if you're a Wild West town under siege, well, the only people to call are seven outlaws. The cast is big. It stars Denzel Washington and Ethan Hawke, to name just a couple. The cast were on the red carpet at the Toronto Film Festival, and Event TV was there to capture all the action.
I'm here at the Toronto International Film Festival, which is the kickoff for some of the biggest films of the year. Tonight was the premiere of The Magnificent Seven, with a stellar cast including Denzel Washington, Ethan Hawke and Chris Pratt.
What do I like the most about Westerns? Hey, I gotta love a guy who can't call the cops.
The myth, maybe, the legend of it, the bigger than life of it, the horse, the guns.
It's the same old story that's been told a million times, but with a different kind of flavor, you know?
I think it's a throwback to just the, cinema history, really.
I love the era. I love that you have to be a bit of a vigilante.
It's like a movie with a morality and also action-packed. So that makes the best Westerns.
We spent a few weeks down in Baton Rouge before filming, just kind of riding together and getting a sense of what it would be like to spend that time on the horses.
I definitely felt like I was, a part of something really special.
By the time we actually started shooting, we were quite the little group of friends.
A lot of amazing bonds that were forged between us as actors.
I always have fun working with talented people, and if you get to work with talented people and wear a cowboy hat and ride a horse and fire a rifle, it's particularly amusing.
To be part of the cast was amazing. To share credits with these guys, with Ansel and Vince and Ethan, etc. It was a dream come true,
About 6 of the guys hung out a lot together, and we would, it's too X-rated to talk about what we talked about.
Oh, did he say that? What'd he tell you?
X-rated conversation.
Like what? Go ahead, be bold now, jump in there.
I'm asking you.
I'm asking you.
Can you talk about reuniting with Antoine in this film?
I've done 3 films with Antoine: Training Day, Brooklyn's Finest, and now this. He's just one of those people that I believe in, he believes in me, and you meet people in your life that you relate to and that seem to understand you.
It's so fun to come and promote a movie that you love and that you are proud of.
I haven't been this excited to show a movie to people as I am tonight in a long while.
To be a part of that legacy is so fun, so cool. I've always wanted to do a Western, so I got lucky being a part of this one.
It's back. The Magnificent Seven is a remake of one of the most classic Westerns of all time. And believe me, this is one hell of a ride. This is Catherine Tulich for Event Cinemas at the Toronto International Film Festival.
Well, this one's based on a true story. It was one of the worst environmental disasters the world had ever seen. In 2010, Deepwater Horizon, an offshore rig, exploded, and for 87 days it spewed oil and gas out into the environment. It was a disaster and many lives were lost, but this film is also a story of survival and heroics. It stars Mark Wahlberg and Kate Hudson, as well as Kurt Russell and John Malkovich. Take a look.
We a big company, millions of moving parts. We all work very hard to ensure those moving parts are functioning as a means to very profitable end for all of us.
So we know a lot about this story in terms of the headlines and our opinions of the fact of the oil companies and the devastation to the region.
I didn't know this story until I saw a 60 Minutes segment on Mike Williams. I knew the story after the rig blew up, but the story that 60 Minutes told was the 14 hours before the rig blew up, and that was a fascinating story. You know, a story of oil engineering, a story of corporate manipulation or corporate pressure causing problems.
Are you seeing this? It can be a lucrative job, but it's an extremely dangerous job. And, you know, you're making a major sacrifice being away from your family.
Mike, what is that? Is everything okay?
Was this an important story to tell because you also had the real Felicia on set?
In this film, seeing as it's sort of based on the events, that it kind of represents all the family's experience. And what she said was a night and hours just felt like an absolute eternity. It was wonderful to have her guide me in terms of what that felt like for her.
Mayday, Mayday! This is Deepwater Horizon. What's wrong?
Towards the rocks.
Not Mildred.
The character you play, he actually was involved in the filming. I mean, you wanted to be very much him involved in the story as well, didn't you?
Nobody knew the rig better than Mike, and he was the last one off. All the lifeboats and life rafts were gone. Everybody was off the rig. In order to make it as authentic and accurate as possible, we thought, you know, he would be vital to that.
We built a big chunk of the rig and then used computer effects to get what we couldn't quite build. You know, we had really great effects teams come and do things with fire that I don't think anyone had ever done in terms of the scope of the fire and the proximity of the fire to people. Well, we spent a lot of time with members of the oil industry in Louisiana, learning as much as we could about the science of oil exploration.
My wife's name is Felicia, and my daughter's Sydney, and I will see them again. Do you understand me?
The fact that this is a New Orleans story, even though a lot of films get shot there, was that very nice to be involved with the community? Were they happy about you?
They were happy when they realized what our intentions were. Once they knew that it was myself and Pete and what we were focusing on, then they were very happy and very supportive. But I think the ultimate focus was still the 11 people that lost their lives and the heroic acts of individuals to save themselves and save others.
The Girl on the Train is a psychological thriller that proves life isn't always as it seems. It stars Emily Blunt as a lonely divorcee who travels on the train every day and through the window observes another couple's life. It seems picture perfect, but then something happens. She starts to investigate and mystery starts to unravel.
I saw her. I saw her from the train.
Can you tell me where you were Friday night?
I was in the city, and then I went to visit my husband.
You mean your ex-husband?
And you did this so well, this sense of isolation and this sense that, you know, she has no power. It was such an emotional role, and I found that so compelling about her.
I was drawn to her for that reason, that she is so full of regret and shame and fear, and yet she's potentially quite dangerous.
Did you enjoy cheating on Rachel?
Seriously?
I saw her again today.
Where?
This afternoon, when the police brought Scott back home, she was across the street. And when she saw me, she got aggressive.
It's one big jigsaw puzzle that fits together slowly, and everybody plays an integral role in the development and exploration of each other's storyline.
My wife is scared of you.
Of what?
Let's start with child abduction.
That's not how it happened.
You and I both know what you're capable of.
In Paula's novel, so much of what's being said is directly from their minds. I had to find a way to truncate what Rachel and all the women were saying to us through narration and find key moments to hint at that.
I used to watch this perfect couple. They were the embodiment of true love.
To be along on the journeys from the perspective of 3 female narrators, that was very exciting to me.
And a lot with all the characters, you're not really sure as to what their real story is. And it's only through the film and the story and the connection they have to each other does it finally become clear as the film goes on.
I lie to Scott. I lie to you. I mean, I know that's not the point of therapy, but I have to keep things vague.
Over lunch with Emily, I flew to London and met with her. I realized that if we kept her accent, having the movie set in the States, it actually would even add more to the feeling of isolation. She has so many secrets. If she were to go back home, she wouldn't want to reveal them.
My wife is dead, and you're lying to me.
The fact that it deals with the complexity of the human condition with no restraint and with no prejudice, with no judgment, and I think that that's very refreshing.
And what we perceive is going on and what actually is going on and what you think of somebody from a public perception as opposed to who they are in their private life.
It is like a modern Rear Windows, that sort of curiosity of the lives across the way. And it's something so common and something that we're all guilty of.
Just tell me what happened that night.